same size crashed into the Earth, the impact would be catastrophic and wipe out human civilization. Countless meteor and asteroid impacts have left Mercury scarred with dents and crater rings. Today, the planet looks beaten, a terrestrial corpse. Like Mercury, Earth's surface is vulnerable to bombardment. And Arizona's meteor crater is one of our most preserved and Mercurian craters. The desert basin has given geologists a better understanding of what happens when a meteor strikes Mercury's surface. Upon impact, energy from the shock wave rips through the surface and moves tons of rock upward to shape the crater.
And that flow of rock excavated this bowl-shaped cavity and deposited debris on the landscape for kilometers around. Same energy swept up the crater walls and caused these flat-laying layers of rock behind me to actually be uplifted. And the rock, under the influence of shock, wasn't behaving brittly like rock does, but more like taffy. This is one of the hallmarks of impact craters, not only here at Meteor Crater, but anywhere in the solar system.
But imagine if the mighty object that formed Mercury's Caloris Basin crashed down on the site of Meteor Crater.
It would be a massive explosion with chunks of molten material flying around the Earth ballistically, re-entering the Earth's atmosphere and causing just massive meteor showers everywhere.
For nearly 7,500 miles, the shock wave would rip up the soil and stir up tsunamis with 2,000-foot waves.
Massive tsunamis propagate around the Earth and inundate much of the world's coastlines.
It would flatten Las Vegas, Nevada, the cities of Salt Lake City, Utah, San Francisco, California, and Los Angeles would vanish in a split second.
Shock waves from the impact would propagate through the solid Earth thousands of miles from the site of an impact like that.
Those seismic waves would converge at the impact's antipodal point, off the coastline of Africa's Madagascar, at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. Suddenly, a mountain range would explode through the ocean floor and crash up to form that weird Mercurian terrain.
Like an unbelievable earthquake, probably everywhere on Earth for an object that large.
Meteor Crater would be a nick in the surface compared to the Mercurian gash left behind from a Caloris-type impact. The gouge would consume a quarter of the continental United States.
An object that size would eliminate a large portion of the west coast of the U.S. If it fell, say, on Arizona. It would literally change the coastline in an instant.
Back on Mercury, those craters give it an iconic stature in the solar system, and some of these pockmarks harbor mysteries. When the radar at Puerto Rico's Arecibo Observatory honed in on Mercury's poles, it picked up something that left researchers befuddled.
Ice, of all things. One of the hottest bodies in the solar system, and it has ice in the poles. And the reason it has ice there is because Mercury is a heavily cratered surface. And so craters in the polar regions, the inside of them, are constantly in shadow.
That's because Mercury is vertical relative to the plane of its orbit. So some crater floors never receive light or heat from the sun. But with no obvious water source on the planet, that begs the question, how did the ice get there? scientists believe the mystery ice could have come from a comet. Comprised of rock,